Capricorn friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Capricorn July 2025 astrology horoscope forecast. We've had a very powerful series of shifts with all of the outer planets in the cosmos changing signs within recent times. Pluto, then more recently Saturn and Neptune into Aries, and then last month Jupiter into Cancer, and now this month we have Uranus moving into Gemini. This hasn't happened since 1949, and it will be in this placement or influencing in this placement for 8 years. So I'm going to go into what that means specifically for Capricorn. Also, we've got Mercury retrograde this month. Mercury retrograde in Leo, so we'll talk about what that can look like specifically for Capricorn, and lots of other things that you need to know for this month. This is for you if Capricorn is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Cap placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. I have my moon and Venus in Capricorn, so anything I'm reading for you, I'm also reading for myself as potentials. If you are a very late degree Capricorn friend, so birthdays like January 15th through the rest of the sign, or Cap degrees, 23 degrees to the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Aquarius report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. So I'm going to structure this reading in the following way. We're going to talk about things that are of a more short-term influence first, and then we'll build up to this big behemoth of a change for Uranus moving into Gemini. First thing we need to know about this month is the sun is moving through Cancer. So the sun is moving along with Jupiter into Cancer, except the Jupiter transit will be there for a year until June of 2025, and the sun transit will only be there for 4 weeks. But they're working in tandem to focus on your relationship space. Jupiter is seeking to expand this space, to bring more freedom and flexibility and deeper and more enriching interactions, and just bring more people into your life to have more value into your life through relationship. So what Jupiter is doing there for the long term, the sun is enhancing for the short term. So look for very important awarenesses, interactions, a highlight on collaborating to come this month with this sun transit. The sun also tends to be like a giant spotlight. So the same way a spotlight would show you beautiful colors in a room and show you, what you're working with in a room, it also will show you if there are spider webs or if there are paint chips or something that needs to be addressed. So the sun as a spotlight here can enhance and bring warmth and vibrance to the space, but it can also give you clues as to what needs to be improved in your relationship space. And that is a story that will be corroborated by Mercury in retrograde, because Mercury will spend July 17th through August 11th in retrograde. That pre-transit shadow period starts June 30th, and the end retrograde shadow stretches until August 26th. So for all of July and all of August, you will have this tremendous focus inward and backward on relationships of the 8th house nature. 7th house is the relationship itself and some of your dealings with relationships, but the 8th house is like a deeper, more emotionally or financially involved layer of relationship. So you will be questioning, you will be going back to, you will be enlivening, enriching, resolving things that have to do with your relationship space. Some benefits from that can happen from the Mercury retrograde for this time are emotional breakthroughs. So old fears and resentments and secrets can be faced and released. And you may notice that some things do come up at this time for that very reason, that Mercury is bringing them back. Mercury tends to be like taking the a throw rug up and shaking it out, and all the dust that was swept under it comes out and you have to deal with it. But after the cycle, then everything can be better and cleaner for it, but you got to do the work. So you may find that you are reworking financial agreements, re-looking at inheritances or taxes or debts or shared money. If you've been refused for a loan, or refused for some other sort of financial or emotional support, going back and re-asking or reapplying may bring great results at this time. You could also reclaim your power in a relationship or a business deal. Retrogrades tend to have a lot to do with RE. So reclaiming, redoing, revisiting, reconsidering, all of those things are going to come up in that 8th house space, including an opportunity to explore and revise your relationships, to really work with them in different and better ways. Now, since the Mercury retrograde is going through the sign of Leo, there is also going to be something associated with your freedom and creativity to express, your things that bring you passion and joy, your romantic relationships, your things with your children, things having to do with your creative babies. You may notice that a lot of things you're bringing are coming back up to reconsider or redo, or just experience again. If there are great things that you did in the past, you may bring those things back around. And if there are things that didn't work, they may come back up to be dealt with. Okay, so Mars has been spending time in that place, so you will have noticed that for the last month, June, you still had a strong focus on this 8th house, which I talked about in the June report, with the wills and the contracts and the government support and, financial agreements and all of this stuff. You've had a very strong obsessive focus from Mars last month, and now Mercury retrograde is going to bring more work to do there, even though Mars will be moving on. So as Mars moves through Libra, it's going to accentuate or bring obsessive focus and action to the 9th house. So this is the house of education. If you have been in an education program, you may find that you go on a learning bender. If you have, wanted to study something, you may find that you go back to it or you finally do it. If you, have something to do with immigration or teaching, like if you as a teacher, there may be something that comes back around for you to deal with. And you may see that Mars is giving you a lot of energy to get stuff done there. If you're creating curriculum, or if you're studying, or if you want to plan long distance travel, you may be doing research at this phase. Sometimes with the retrograde, I always like to describe this as the tides coming in and you are on the shore. And if you try to put your boat out on the sea, the tides will bring it right back to you. So if you're trying to launch something far and wide, this isn't the best month to do that. It is the best month to experiment, to research, to study. Mercury in retrograde is incredibly good for studying. So you may find, that researching or studying on any of these topics may be better served, to use that really strong energy. Okay, so let's talk about Uranus. Uranus has been moving through your 5th house for a long time, 7 to 8 years. And you may have been experiencing instability in your romantic relationship, or things with your children, or things like that. So you may find that certain things in those spaces are starting to settle down for you. So that's a great blessing. Now, some of the long-term positives of Uranus moving into Gemini, which accentuates the 6th house of Virgo for Capricorn, is that you could revolutionize your health. New tech, new methods, healing modalities could bring breakthroughs in your health. If you've been suffering for a long time, the breakthrough essence of Uranus could all of a sudden bring sudden solutions. Now, if you haven't had health issues, Uranus equally has a chance to start bringing up something. But remember that symptoms are how the body talks to us. So as long as you can investigate symptoms you have instead of ignoring them, this Uranus transit can really be to your benefit, because you may make discoveries that can help you change behavior, which can help you improve your health. You may also be able to break toxic routines and shake up your daily experience and clear out outdated ways of overworking or self-sacrificing or having boredom in your general day-to-day. So it's very stimulating transit, and it's a very forward-thinking, innovative type of energy. So you may revolutionize your daily experience through looking at things differently, thinking laterally, thinking outside of the box of how you can go about your day and be more efficient and have a more rewarding day-to-day. You may be more spontaneous in your daily interactions and have less of a routine and enjoy that immensely. There may be sudden things involving animals, or things with coworkers, or things going on for people close to you, neighbors or other people you see. You have a chance to develop greater body awareness through experimentation and through trying things on, working with different things in your body, and just overall making the decision to improve your relationship with your body through listening to symptoms and to finding solutions or finding reasons for why certain symptoms are happening. There's always a reason, and the more you can find it, the more you can communicate with your body. So this transit in general is very much about liberating yourself from what no longer works. It's about, finding and clearing these unconscious patterns that leave you in a rut, or that leave you, working more than you should. Capricorns tend to do this. Okay, so I have a lot of Cap energy, and I've known over time, and I've been bringing you on this voyage with me of how we can work smarter instead of harder, and how we can still show up for everybody, which is what we like to do, without it, detracting from ourselves so much. And many a Capricorn has started to have health issues because of the over responsibility that you're experiencing in your life. So renegotiating that belief system, may be part of the process of liberating you in your health arena, and also in the arena of how you work day to day. Okay, some other important dates. July 10th, we've got the full moon at 18 degrees of Capricorn. This is your full moon. So we only get usually one of these a year. Fullness, completion, fruition, drama. All in work, career, employment, things having to do with you being an authority figure, or things having to do with authority figures. Also, completion, fruition, drama, for better or worse, in your first house of your physical body, of your reputation, of, your notoriety. You may notice that something that you have been working on may wind up coming to fruition for you during this time. Then we've got July 24th, the new moon at 2 degrees of Leo. Now for Cappies, this is going to be in that same 8th house that we discussed with the retrogrades. So you may find that there are new beginnings in that arena from that retrograde process. If you love the dates and you want more of them, find my July 2025 monthly written star report with sweet and salty dates by going to anniehelpsyou.com, signing up for my free VIP newsletter, and then getting the welcome letter, clicking on the archive link, and putting July 2025 astrology in there. If you want to understand how all of these changes of outer planets, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Jupiter, how all of this may affect you personally, plus have more information on the general transit, but see what goes on in your personal chart, see my personalized reports at anniebclarity.com. Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. You can see my outer planet transit report that will give you all of those good details, so that, because you'll be working with these themes for a very long time, and I give you lots of information on how to navigate that space. If you resonate with how I teach and you want to learn this education bender that you may be going on, if you love astrology, you may want to take advantage of the energies of studying and join my course. BeAstroPro.com will lead you to my astrology certification course. You can check out all of the goodies there. It's a very comprehensive, organized course that will help you to earn money from astrology if that's your goal, or just help yourself and your family and your friends. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.